Welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of Varsity Views Inside the Huddle Edition, brought to you by Keon Sports. I'm Jax Gregory.
And I'm Darien Jackson.
And we're here to break down the top 5 games of the week. And with that, coming in at number 5, we have Westlake versus Warrensville Heights. Now, in this game, Westlake kind of started out slow, nothing really could get going, and Warrensville would end up leading 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. But in the second quarter, Westlake would respond, and Warrensville would only lead 14-10 going into halftime. In the third quarter, it was a defensive battle. Neither team would score a single point. And this led up to a crazy fourth quarter when Westlake would end up finding the end zone one time and also kicking a field goal, taking the lead 24-14, and that would be the final score.
This game really did have some ups and downs, especially for the Warrensville team. They were up 14-0 after the first quarter, so really you're probably thinking, oh yeah, Warrensville got this in the bag. Like 14 up after the first quarter, like just got to play some really good defense. But Westlake, they never gave up. They looked at the score as if 14-0 was absolutely nothing to them. For them to be able to go on the run that they did, score 24 points, and not even letting Warrensville. Bro, I know, right? That's crazy. Not even letting Warrensville get another score, not another touchdown. I mean, that's great defense. And, I mean, they adjusted. They had to have adjusted, very well.
Yeah, because, I mean, it looked like Warrensville was going to run away with this one. But Westlake, they never gave up, honestly. And that's a good sign coming out of this team. The player of the game was Westlake wide receiver Cooper Rummel.
Wrapping up week 3, Warrensville would go 0-3, and Westlake's record would be 2-1. So I'm thinking, Warrensville thinking we're going to get our first dub today. That's just so crazy to me. To find out more about this game, go on KeonSports.com and look for Lindsay Reitz, as she wrote a great article about the game. Coming in at number 4, we have Padua versus North Royalton. Now, I had the luxury of being at this game, and I'd be the first to tell you that it was pretty interesting. North Royalton ended up winning the game 28-21 in a blockbuster, and it started off pretty much really one-sided. I'm talking North Royalton was up 14-0 to start off. I believe it was actually 14-0 in the first quarter. I mean, they were giving out the ball to Cody Miller, who had well over 100 yards before the half. They was running into him, and he could not be stopped. I mean, he's been running the ball everywhere. And, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, Padua had a really rough time trying to adjust to the offense of North Royalton, but eventually they got it down.
Yeah, Padua, they figured out for a possession or two on how to stop Cody Miller. They started stacking the box more, and that forced North Royalton to go throw the ball, and North Royalton would end up throwing an interception. And on that drive, Padua would end up scoring a touchdown to make it a 14-7 lead.
But, I mean, it was no sweat because North Royalton came back and scored another touchdown, and they ended up going into halftime 21-7. So, with that being said, Padua ended up I don't know what clicked for two-side their quarterback, but he started throwing like he ain't never thrown before. I'm talking about he was hitting his targets. He struggled a little bit in the first half, overshooting his receivers, but coming out of the second half, I don't know what conversation he might have had.
Coach was probably talking to him, hey, get on your game right now. Let's go.
I don't know what conversations he had, but let me tell you, being down 21-7, he made it a ball game because they turned it around, and eventually, after a couple touchdowns, it was 21-21.
All knotted up, yep.
So being at North Royalton, playing in that environment, and seeing all the faces in the fans, because I'm telling you, North Royalton fans, they were on one. I mean, it was ridiculous. The environment was great, and there was actually a lot of Padua fans being there too on the visitor side. Mm-hmm. And with them being able to tie it up, there was some timeouts had to be taken by North Royalton. Come on now, you were just up 21-7.
Yeah, you don't want to choke that lead.
And you don't want to choke it. Exactly. Both teams coming off of a loss. Mm-hmm. North Royalton the game before had lost 54-0, some 41. I think it might have been 41-0, something crazy like that. But Padua was also coming in on a loss as well. So, both teams were 1-1 at the time. So someone had to get a win.
Yeah,
someone had to get a win. But I mean, we were really pulling for North Royalton because they played such a great game. But like I said, Tusai and Padua was making this a game.
Yeah, so. But in the end, North Royalton ended up scoring another touchdown. That would be the final score, 28-21. North Royalton over Padua. This would move North Royalton to
2-1. North Royalton moves to 2-1, and Padua will go on to be 0-3.
Yep.
Going into week 3 of football. If you guys want to hear a little bit more about this game at all, go on YouTube because the game was live. So go on YouTube, type in Keon Sports, and check it out.
Coming in at game number 3 on our countdown. Now, you guys might remember if you listened last week, we had this game as a game to watch out for. It's Medina versus Wadsworth. Medina's been a very popular team on this podcast already because of their quarterback, Dan Stoddard, who's just been showing out every week. And he did it again, honestly.
He's trying to go D1.
But at the end of the first quarter, it was a close ball game, tied at 7. And then the second quarter, we would see fireworks. Medina would end up going into halftime with a lead of 28-21. So both teams were just scoring at will in the second quarter.
So coming out of halftime, the score was 28-21 Medina. But the third quarter, it was all Medina. They were able to push the score up to 42, leaving Wadsworth without scoring a single point, going up 42-21 to end of the third quarter, which means the offensive blow of Medina is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Stoddard and those receivers they're hard to stop. I mean,
nobody's stopping in that offense. Like, that man is trying to go D1. Like
him throwing, he can also run the balls. We'll get to his stats in a little bit, but I mean, the kid is just he's special.
He's ridiculous. I mean, he was already player of the week last week, so you know he's on our radar for the game.
He's a candidate. He's a candidate. We don't know exactly yet. Might be one of his psych. We don't know yet.
I might give y'all a sneak peek, but we ain't gonna do that. That'd be wrong. But I mean, come on now. The offensive blow of Medina has been very overwhelming for a lot of teams in these 3 weeks of football so far. So.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with them. But Wadsworth hung around. In the fourth quarter, they didn't just give up and go away. Medina would only end up scoring 3 more points, and Wadsworth would end up getting up to 35 points. It was 45-35 was the final score. Wadsworth tried their best to keep up with this high-powered offense of Medina, but they just simply didn't have enough. That third quarter really hurt them, not scoring any points.
Hey, two touchdowns in a quarter is actually, that's pretty solid for real. Like, you got to play some really good defense to get more than just, putting up 14 points in a quarter. Like, that third quarter, like you said, really hurt them because they were only down by a touchdown.
Yeah, only down by a touchdown.
There was only one score down, so them not being able to score and allowing Medina to go on the run that they did is you need to stop that.
Yeah, you can't let that happen. You got to be able to respond to this Medina team.
Right now, you got to stick with them. If you got to stick with them, you can't give them any room to breathe. You can't afford no errors right now. You got to be, first blood. You got to go for it.
Exactly. But the players of the game for Wadsworth was Davis Nye. He had 8 catches, 159 yards. And then running back Kyle Figueroa had 30 rushes, 172 yards, 4 touchdowns. And also had 2 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. So he had a huge day for Wadsworth. Now, Medina, one of the candidates is Dan Stoddard, quarterback. He went 23 for 29 with 412 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, while also adding 66 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And then wide receiver Austin Knowles for Medina also had 11 catches for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns.
If y'all haven't guessed it already, if y'all want to tap in with this article, please go. I cannot stress this enough. Please go to KeonSports.com. Look for the author Ty Kohler, as he did a really wonderful job on this article, my man. It's nice. I like it. I like this. Coming in at game number 2 is Glenville versus Avon. If you guys watched the last episode and listened to it, you guys would know that Glenville and Avon was one of our preview games that we had coming in being as one of the top 5 because, it was a good game. If y'all ain't tapped in yet, make sure y'all go check out the second episode as well as the first episode because we coming in hot.
Yeah, we've been pretty good on our picks, I think, too, for the preview to the next game and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, real solid. Now, I'm going to tell you how quick and easy this game ended up starting off. Glenville threw an interception first play. First play of the game. Avon said, mine. So, we can already see where this was going. But you're wrong because let me tell you why. Glenville somehow was able to go up 13-7 at the end of the first quarter. After that first possession of an interception, they just act like nothing happened. So that's what you got to act like.
Yeah, a lot of help from their running back, Deshaunte Jones. He was big in this game.
2 touchdowns, man.
Yeah. But Glenville would hold that lead going into halftime, 21-14.
Coming out of the half, Avon will respond with a touchdown of their own. and leaving Glenville scoreless for the rest of the third quarter, as with them after they got their touchdown. The score will end up being 21 apiece to end the third quarter. Now, going into the fourth, if the score is tied at the end of the third, going into the fourth, in your mind, all you have to do is think one score,
one stop.
Stop.
Honestly.
Just like a bunch of stops. Like, come on, like let's not let
Just
them gain
hold
no
up.
yards, no
Yep.
momentum. Like if we score the ball and just, hold off, just do what we did in the third, we're winners. We're going off with a win.
Glenville, they did that. They scored another touchdown, and then they got stops on Avon the rest of the game. And Glenville also got a game-sealing interception on Avon's last drive, and that ended the game. Glenville would win the game 27-21, the final score. Running back Deshaunte Jones for Glenville had 126 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Avon got some help but couldn't pull through from wide receiver Drew Lindsay, who had 4 catches for 62 yards, and then also their running back Jacorian Caffey, who had 19 rushes for 68 yards and a touchdown.
If you guys want to read up more about this game and how dramatic this finish was, make sure you guys go on KeonSports.com and look up the author, the man himself, Vince McKee, the owner, the one and only, Keon Sports. I was just play. But no, for real, y'all might want to go ahead and click that.
And coming in at number 1 on our countdown, another game we had previewed last week as what could be a game of the week. It is. And it's number 1, Solon versus Stowe. Now, this game, it was a defensive battle, honestly. End of the first quarter, no points were scored. 0. None. Zilch. Nothing.
That's some hard working defense right there. I know them boys was tired of sweating.
But Stowe would open it up and score 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, having a lead 14-0 at half on the road against a good team in Solon. Now, Stowe, out of the third quarter, nothing. But Solon, they would end up getting some points on the board, and it would be 14-7 at the end of the third, giving the student section in Solon some life.
You thought only that touchdown gave them student section's life?
Hey.
They got another one. I'm telling you, going up 2 touchdowns after not scoring at all in the first half, being down 14-0. And again, another team during this week with another turnaround. Another touchdown goes up. It is 14-14, and now you got yourself a game. You got yourself a ball game. And again, the adjustments, man. It's literally adjustments. I don't know what that coach said at halftime in the huddle, in the locker room, whatever you want to say. These teams know how to adjust and fix their mistakes.
Adjustments, and they got a lot of heart.
Who you telling, man? I'm telling you, being down 0-14, 2 touchdowns, and this team has been locking us up like the whole first half, and they're going to come out and try to do it again. Yeah. So you really got to figure out like how to pick out the defense and pick out the leak winks. I ain't saying
the weak links.
The weak links. Like, you got to figure something out, but that's good coaching right there because let me tell you, game winner.
Yeah, game
field goal.
Solon's last drive, final drive of the game, they'd end up kicking a game-winning field goal and win the game 17-14. Solon running back E.J. Taylor would score a touchdown in this game, and also Solon wide receiver Brian McQuaid had a huge touchdown in the third quarter to get Solon on the board.
Say what you want, but I can tell you right now, Stowe is running laps.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, there's certain games where it's like when you're up and, they applied pressure in the beginning. They probably didn't have enough gas towards the end.
I guess not. They got comfortable at halftime. They're probably in the locker room having fun, joking around. But then Solon was focused, laser sharp focused. Coach was probably chewing him out a little bit. And Solon came out and responded.
Hey, I mean, that's just good coaching right there. Good team win. So, hey.
And if you'd like to find out more about this game, you can visit Keon Sports' website, keonsports.com, and go to the article written by Lana Ellis. It's a pretty good article. Gives you a rundown of the whole game. A very exciting game.
With that being said, that was our top 5 games of the week. And now you guys are probably wondering who is the player of the week. And it is your boy, Dan Stoddard, going back-to-back. I'm sorry, he had a really good game again. I mean, come on now. 23 for 29. Completion. 412 yards. My man, 200 yards off of the record that he just broke and 100 off of the new one.
Yeah, it's almost like
come on, man.
It's almost like a bad game for him, it seems like.
Like, he played a really good game, and he had one of the better performances of the week out of all of the players. I mean,
yeah,
stats speak for themselves.
I have a feeling he's going to be a player of the week pretty often. I mean, like you said, the Medina quarterback, Dan Stoddard, 412 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, and then also 66 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, there's just not a lot of quarterbacks out there like this, especially in this area. But I mean,
and on top of that, the quarterback is the general. He's the play caller. You know, he makes everything.
He's the
happen.
point guard.
Yeah, he's really the point guard. He's the leader, the captain of the ship. You gotta make sure it don't sink. And right now, he making sure his ships don't sink.
Yeah.
So he's keeping them afloat. They're winning games right now, and I mean, it's only week 3, and he's already been it twice.
I mean, in his last 2 games, he's thrown for over 1,000 yards in 2 weeks.
Oh, when you put it like that.
When you combine them,
when you put it like that,
that's just insane.
Who doing that?
Yeah, nobody's
doing that right now. So, hey, I mean, well deserved.
Oh yeah,
back to back, my guy. Back to back. Someone better come out and show me something, man, because he go 3-peat in a row. We gonna call him the Bean.
But yeah, with that, we're gonna head into our preview of Week 4. Now, first game we're previewing is 2-1 Solon going up against 2-1 Strongsville. Now, we just had Solon be game of the week after their big win against Stowe. In Strongsville, I think they were up there last week for one of the games of the week. They're a great team. I'm looking forward to see how these two go at each other.
Yeah, definitely, because they beat Midview. I had that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that.
And then next game we have is 2-1 North Royalton versus 2-1 Nordonia. Now, I covered Nordonia last week. Their offense seems to be explosive, and their defensive line is probably one of the best defensive lines in Ohio right now. I mean, it seems unstoppable.
Hey, I did North Royalton last week, so, I mean, we're going to see whose team end up doing what.
Yeah, and I'm covering this game again, but...
Okay, that's going to be nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these teams bring against each other. And then another game we have to look forward to is 1-2 Stowe, but Stowe is a much better team than their record shows for. They've just had some really tough opponents, and they're going up against Medina. So looking to see what Stoddard can bring out in that game, see if Stowe can get back on the winning side after falling to 1-2.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find out. We're gonna definitely find out.
And then next we got 3-0 Elder. They're a Cincinnati-based team, but they're going up against 3-0 St. Ed's. And St. Ed's, well, as we all know, is a huge powerhouse.
Yeah, I think that might be. I'm thinking in my mind that might be number 1.
Yeah, I mean Elder's a great team
1.
from Cincinnati. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing the stats that are put up in that game and how it goes. And then lastly, we have 3-0 Buckeye. We haven't talked much about them, but I was looking at it. Their last game, they scored 64 points. And the week before that, they scored like 50-plus points. So they're 3-0, and I kind of want to see what they have to do. They play North Olmsted, who's 1-2, but I mean...
Oh. I might have that game. I'm not even going to lie. Hold up. Continue to say what you're saying, because I want to know now.
Buckeyes got to be Buckeyes' offense has to be going crazy because, I mean, to score 64 points and then a week ago they had, what was it? What did I just say? 50 plus? I mean, that's crazy. I want to see what their offense is made of.
I mean, yeah, you can obviously tell when teams score that much high of a points in football, it's either two things. Either that team is an offensive juggernaut or that other team ain't got no
or the
defense.
Other two teams they played had no defense. But their last game was like 64 to 50 something, so it's a high scoring game. It's like a high school basketball game.
We all want to see teams we all want to see nothing but offense. Let's be honest, it's a football game. We want to see that offense.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up everything, guys. Appreciate you guys tapping in with us and tuning in to this week's episode of Varsity Views, brought to you by Keon Sports, the Inside Huddle edition. I've been your host, Darien.
And I'm Jax.
And y'all got to catch us next week, man. We posting every Wednesday, man. Get up.